Welcome to the Old World Fanatics, your Warhammer fantasy podcast to quench your hobby thirst for all things the Old World. And I'm back. I'm one of your hosts, Gomo, and I'm joined not only by Andrew and Josh today, but we've got two very special returning guests, sort of co-hosting sometimes now that they're back for their second visit. Yeah. We've got Paddy and ASB. How are you guys going?
Hey, yeah, going pretty well. Keeping busy with Cancon, but always nice to drop back and have a chat.
Always a pleasure to have you. How are you going, ASB? You see you're modelling there.
Man, I'm good. A little bit upset that obviously I can't be at Cancon the weekend. I didn't think it would go down too well with the wife if I missed the birth of our first child in order to go and roll dice.
It's by the sound of it, it's the night before. Come on,
right.
All good. The baby will still be sleeping. No, all good. I think you've got a very valid pass there, mate. But look, you're not going to miss CanCon because we're going to talk about CanCon right now in this episode, pretty much. We've just got all the lists. We'll get through this in a minute after we get through some other news and stuff. But we're going to go through a few lists and get the expert opinion of ASB with his views on some of them, since he's not going to be there. But obviously, Paddy and Josh, you've probably spent too much time looking at these lists over the last...
Too much time. Oh, my God.
Me and Andrew haven't looked at them yet. We just sort of looked about an hour and a half ago. So I really don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to really...
It's really
lean on
almost
people.
like our own little babies, these lists. Like we spend so much time caring for them and nurturing them and revising them, and now they're all released into the world.
Fixing all their points problems. That's awesome. It's I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit with the big news and the Old World drop this weekend. Feels like it's a good, I won't call it an official send-off because obviously, people keep playing editions they want to play, but it's...
I'm going to be playing a 6-head tournament in March.
So, the thing. So it's not really, but at the same time, it's a nice way, I think, to, have a big bash before we probably switch over, a lot of us, to the
I'm not sure they'll be as big as one as this one, in the future.
In March, you mean? The one you're going to
like even that one. Like as in one saying, like this, having 50-plus players in a 6-head tournament.
In the medium term,
Not sure it'll happen again once the Old World comes out.
We can start taking bets on how big CanCon will be next year. But that's another thing. What did you say, Hasby?
Oh, it's like Duffman, 6th edition will never die, only the people who play him can. Well, will.
Yeah. That's right. Cool. Hey, awesome. Okay, well, that's going to be the main topic, but I did want to jump on a couple of things. Firstly, I guess, actually, I did have a little bit of news, so maybe we can just use that to also blend into ASB's and Paddy's view on the Old World, because we haven't really had a chance to talk to you guys on the pod about that now that you've seen so much about it and what came out. So maybe we'll start there, but then I'll also just sneak in some of the news that has dropped. So did you guys, were you sitting in the queue the other week on the Games Workshop store, or are you sitting on the sidelines waiting? Like, how did you guys, what have you done with the Old World? I guess I'll start with Paddy. Have you had time at all, given CanCon?
I snuck in a bit of time to start having a look at rules, but now I got my pre-order in with my friendly local game shop a month ago, and I was one of the lucky ones that actually got in early enough to actually get it.
Oh, nice.
What?
So now it's just the waiting game.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant you physically got it. I was like, what?
Oh, no.
That's very lucky.
I almost did. I had a mate who was on holiday in the UK, and I was going to get him to pick it up for me and bring it back. But when we were organizing the details, he was flying back home on the 20th, on the release day. So I missed it by one day.
How selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at how busy and how much people aren't getting their stuff anyway, especially in the US because of the weather, but just UK in general because of the busyness, I feel like we're not going to be that far behind by the time we get it anyway. Like, I think most of the US are a week behind now, so it's kind of funny. Well, not funny, but it's good for us, I guess. What did you get, ASB, even though I think we did chat about this, but did you get your pre-orders in?
So I was in a group chat and someone said that basically I think they were actually talking about the index cards, like the Magic cards and stuff, and saying that they were limited release. But I thought they were talking about the way they said it was they were talking about Forces of Fantasy, Ravening Hordes, etc. I know, and the Arcane Journals, basically all of it. And so I had a bit of a panic the night before because it was on the Friday, and where my dilemma was is cricket starts at 1:00, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I was like, I want to go to the store, and then my better half was like, well, why don't you go to the Chermside store here in Brisbane? Happened to be 10 minutes from where I was playing cricket. And so, like any non-deranged person, I decided to get there at 9 a.m., like as it opened, just in case. I walked in and I was like, I'm here for a while, but they're like, man, it's not over for like 3 hours. I was like, is there like a queue? He pulls a piece of paper out, he writes a big 1. He's like, here, I'll see you in 3 hours. And so I got in, I got the rule book, I got Ravening Hordes, Force of Fantasy, I got both Arcane Journals because I just want to get them all. I got both sets of common magic cards, the items and the cards, and I got Lords of the Lance. And yeah, it was weird. Like I had this strange sort of sensation sort of washing over me, like it was almost euphoric, like a little kid walking into Games Workshop for the first time, buying my first ever model, to be honest. I nearly cried, actually. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Nah, that's why I reckon I'm going to pretty emotional when I get the actual books. But it's like we were talking last week, Josh. It's a little bit weird though because we are getting the rules now. We've got that. Like we were like, should we even get the PDFs of the EPUBs and read them? But I mean, you just can't not. So I think that's going to take a little bit of it off, but it's still going to be good. I'm avoiding like reading all the fluff and the side things in all those books because I actually just would rather read them in the book. So I'm just looking at the black and white stuff, the rules and stuff like that. So,
I would have liked to have read the fluff first and then read the rules. Could be like, oh, okay, this rule makes sense in this context of the fluff kind of thing. But can't do it. Can't do it. Oh well.
Yeah. Aussies can't.
It does kind of feel like spoilers a little bit in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, well, I hope it's not a letdown. It won't be. I still think there's going to be something. I mean, we're all nerds. We all know what it's like. That's why we're in this game. There will be something when you open up that first box and open up and realize, or even the book, and you realize it's back, and hopefully not going anywhere by the sound of the success it's having. So, awesome. Okay, so I guess with that, I mean, did you guys see the old Warhammer World launch and stuff? Did you have any thoughts about that? I mean, did you see the pictures? And it seemed pretty crazy. Like, I don't know if they've had something that big there before by the sound of it. I don't know if that's...
It beat the 40K launch. 10th edition 40K launch was the biggest launch they'd ever had in terms of people at Warhammer World. This was bigger.
Yeah, wow.
Was it?
Yeah, because I mean, I've been there. Like, they looped around the car park and out the front door to this, like, out onto the road, basically, and it took hours to get through. Yep. They're only letting 10 in at a time to actually shop for a bit, get your stuff. Like, insane.
And then apparently once you got in, so it was like, I think it was 2 to 3 hours, depending on the time of day you got there. Then it was an hour to line up to actually get your, to get your stuff off the shelf.
Buy your stuff at the till.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Hopefully it wakes them up.
I'm kind of glad I didn't have to subject my mate who has no interest in Warhammer to that for my sake.
That would have been funny to watch. He would have driven around the corner and gone, what the hell am I lining up for? Yeah.
I've delayed my flight for this.
Yeah. And
maybe he would have picked the game up and started playing.
It's. I mean, I can't believe it's a bit bad timing. Like I was there in May. It's just like, man, I wish I was there. Like to just wait that little bit extra time. That would have been awesome to get to. But I mean, probably not to line up like that. But there would have been something sort of emotional about it as well, I think. So, it's looking good. It's very exciting. And then obviously they announced the Orcs. So before we've even got hold of from our two launch factions, it seems like the Orcs going to be dropping. So,
dropping fast.
When do you reckon that's going to come out? Is it? Did they announce that or not really? Like in terms of dates? No,
I don't think they put a date on.
Yeah,
it might be a bit quicker if they're doing one at a time. Yeah.
It, and they did the pre-order. Was it the made to orders this week? Man, I don't know. It feels like every week or two.
Coming out now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's such a big back catalogue of stuff, isn't there? So
there is.
It feels like every week they're just going to be dropping stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. At some point,
I was expecting it for 2 or 3 months before the next factions. So they're cracking them out, and if they keep going at this pace, they're going to be in 6 months' time. That'll most of the current factions will have been released. Maybe
Yeah.
If they did it in a year, then they're really going to have to think about whether what happens with the legacy ones. Are they actually going to bring out a new army? I guess we'll find that out sooner rather than later. Then, so who knows? Okay, what do you guys think? Just quickly, what do you think of the lost and found Bretonian Lord and his little helper?
Oh, I love his dumb face and his giant head.
Did you like the memes? I should actually have my screen on so the YouTubers, but I think people would know what I'm talking about.
They would have seen him. They're everywhere.
I really want to love him. I do. I do. I think, if you put aside the hands and the face, it's a cool model. I like it. I was going to say it. I like this model. Everyone else is making fun of it.
If you ignore his hideous disfigurements.
Are you getting him, Josh? Are you going to buy him?
Yes, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it for the support of it.
But well,
on principle.
Isn't it 17 years old? It was sculpted 17 years
2008, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
See, I think it's a great, I think I've said before, I don't like AutoCAD digital sculpts. No offense, obviously meant to you, Paddy, in the same manner that I like.
Oh, no worries.
Traditional sculpts. To me, and everyone's different, but they just don't do it for me, the AutoCAD. It seems like I like the old Tomb King 6th edition sculpts over the new ones. And so that is a beautiful model. And do you know who it reminds me of? It reminds me of Rollo from Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
I actually fully 100% agree. There is such a charm to old models that is just so hard to capture with computer sculpting. And I've seen it firsthand where I look at it in the file preview on the computer and I go, this looks great. And then I print it out and it's just, there's something missing. And I really try personally with my stuff to do that more kind of retro, bigger hands, bigger faces that are more expressive, moving away from trying to get it realistic and more trying to get what actually looks good as the physical model. And it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's sort of more fantastical, which is sort of what you sort of remember when you look at these figures. I mean, I like the little dude though, the little help, whatever he is. His helmet looks cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, the whole feeling and emotion behind the sculpting in the piece is actually really nice.
Yeah.
Are there like separate rules coming out for this guy? Is this guy just released by himself?
I mean, the fact that they found him in the back of a closet, I don't know. They probably just
with this little guy. You got this little guy behind him. I'm like, well, what's the little guy doing? Like...
No, you're right. I haven't seen that I haven't gone through the Arcane Journal in depth, but I'm assuming, Josh, that's not a thing.
He's going to be the best charge blocker in the entire game. Every tournament's going to have 5 of them.
Yeah. I just wonder if they're maybe going to release certain models and they might not be encompassed within the Arcane Journal. They might have a White Dwarf style rule set or something. Like the old school.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
obviously.
Hopefully they do that in general with the Arcane Journals and or anything, other versions down the track anyway, and just get away from having to release whole army books. Yeah. That'd be good.
That would. But,
the Orc one, I haven't got that up there, but I mean, I'm loving things like that Troll Hag coming back and stuff like that. I'm not sold on the old trolls. I mean, I like them, but I don't know if I want metal trolls. Or are they going to do them resin? I can't even remember. I don't even. There's so much news. I haven't read them. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's heaps of. I don't know if the trolls metal, but there's a lot of metal coming back.
Yeah.
Which is look, I don't mind metal. It just depends. Some metal was just terrible with some figures. Like
that's right. Like even that metal, I think the rock lobber's coming back metal, and I've got 2 fine cast ones, and they were fine, so I'm like not touching them because they're good and they're light. But if you had bad ones, I can understand wanting the metal ones back. But yeah.
I just like metal because I like painting metal. I find that it just does something different the way it holds paint compared to plastic and resin, personally. I find that like my plastic models just, there's something about the way metal holds highlights that plastic I find harder to achieve. Yeah.
It's funny. I probably prefer painting resin, and then depending on the model, metal or plastic. It just depends on the model because I've had bad both. You know, so there's some really derpy metal ones too, which are just I can't do them. But it's probably more just the sizing. You know, the older ones because they're not sort of the big heroic scale that all the new plastic is. Maybe it's my eyesight's getting poorer, and sometimes I need it a bit bigger these days.
So how much of my collection is resin? I think it is just the worst material of the 3 by far. Just have to worry about dropping it, and it's not good.
Yeah. It just shatters, doesn't it? Is that? I mean, you just did that today, didn't you, Paddy? I should bring that up, but.
There's a take 2 of one of the trophies. Poor Felix hit the ground and went flying.
I shouldn't laugh, but it's just like you've got enough to do before Cancon. Oh well, cool. Okay, well, do you want? We should maybe we can segue into Cancon a little bit before we get in the list.
Speaking of.
Obviously that's Thursday, and Josh and Paddy, you guys have been flat out, and myself as well a little bit there. What do you want to just?
Been doing a lot
as well. Give the listeners just a brief summary of where we're at and what we're expecting come Thursday, I guess.
Oh man, where do we start? It's been a roller coaster the last week or so since the last time I sort of talked about this. Because we've been trying to finalize the player list and try to get all the lists up and get everything uploaded, and so we can run the draw and put it all out so people can review it all publicly. But we had a bit of a problem with the playlist because I think last week and the last few weeks I've been talking about how it's all sold out, 64 players and all this kind of thing. But we have had a bit of a confusion because it turns out that it was some of the playlists we had still had some of those drawn players on it, and it turns out we're about 56 players, and there's been a few other names that we've had to work out. We're still waiting for one person to send his list through. We've got to SMS him and come on, give us some kind of communication. I don't know. We'll see if he turns up. I don't know. No. I won't know. But,
we've hired a private investigator to track him down.
You know who you are.
He's coming to CanCon whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. You should see if he's in the in one of the Facebook groups. He might be on there. I don't know.
No. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We've done what we can. But we've got 56 players, which really is still an amazing number.
It's pretty good
for a 6th edition tournament in this day and age. I'm still really pleased about it. And we've got a whole range of lists that we'll go through, shortly. Really a whole variety of, some of them really themey and fun. Others can be a bit stronger, or others with unusual choices, which are great. We've got. Should we go through the sponsors and that type of thing and the other sort of stuff that we're doing?
Maybe a little bit, almost the email you sent around, the sponsors, and also that other cool prize that's coming out and stuff. There's a few things that people can look forward to.
Yeah. Are you talking about the 6Z?
Oh, the figure.
Figure?
That cool figure as well.
Yeah. That's so cool. Because we asked him if he could put it was Paddy's idea really to put on the rule book in his arm.
It's so good. It is so good.
Old Johnny Warhammer.
Let me try to bring that up. I can share it, can't I? It's fine for. I mean, not that people watching YouTube probably are coming to CanCon, but they might. You never know. Where is my screen going? Sorry, guys, if I can find it. Where is he?
So is that what How's that? Because it looked metal, that miniature.
It's cast.
Oh
metal.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
metal. He
He's
cast
cast it. Oh, it's not on this picture, but he sent us a picture of it in the
like
molds.
next level. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. So I think he digitally sculpted it, and then he made a mold, and then he made it into metal. It's just like I'm like, how I don't know how he's. It's like so professional.
Super cheap too.
I totally shook me because I saw his designs. That he was sharing them, the 3D CAD ones, and I just thought he was going to just print it off. Then he's got the spun in them all in the little mold there. I was like, what the? Yeah.
I can share it
because he's
So my dad, I think I've mentioned when we were on the pod, and you guys were wondering what the thing hanging above my desk was, and it was a jeweler's drill.
Oh, your drill. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my old man's a retired manufacturing jeweler, specializing in engagement rings, and it's actually not it's not easy, obviously. I mean, if you or I was a jeweler or a sculptor or whatever, it would be quite easy to do something like that. To actually build the molds, like you can basically pour it yourself. Like a lot of jewelers even use cuttlefish. Weirdly, they get 2 pieces of cuttlefish. They put the say a ring in between, and then they basically bind it with wire, and then they pour in the top. The actual casting process. The hard part would have been the sculpting, but the casting process is not actually as difficult as if you've got the right equipment and contacts.
Yeah, and I betcha, like we think it's probably this massive factory, but it's probably just this little thing in the back of someone's room. Is it like spin casting like a little tiny devices? I don't even know. Don't they spin it or something? I don't even know. I guess to shove all the metal to the extremities. Is that how it works? Is that by hand? Do they just sit on a?
I don't think any of us have that much experience.
You're asking us like
frantically Googling. I assume so.
I spin casting every day, but
it's just so weird. There, this is not. It's just definitely a lost art, probably. But it's cool. Awesome. I'll hopefully see him in the flesh.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
not to go on about it, but we've also got because you've arranged a lot of this, Colin, haven't you? So we've got Greenskin Games. They're providing some, a bunch of vouchers, aren't they, for the prizes? Is that right?
Yeah, prize money, like vouchers for their store and stuff for first, second, third, and all that sort of stuff. Yep, and for your doubles as well. We managed to get some sponsorship for the doubles tournament on Sunday from them as well. Yeah,
because they were a good sponsor of last year's Cancon, and they had a little store set up, and it was great. You got something, you went over to the store, and you spent the money there and then.
Yeah. And they were like handing out the prizes themselves. I remember at Cancon last year at the Fantasy, like they were physically there, like.
Oh, cool. I mean, maybe they will. I mean, I might not, because I've never been. I may not have done all the right things in terms of the sponsorship stuff. I did note that there was some, I don't know what that invoice stuff is that you're asking me about as well. So I might have to sort some of that out. I don't know. Right. That's definitely them. And then we've got, now I can't remember where they are. You've got the list there, do you, Josh, for sponsors?
Yes. Polymath Table, top.
Yep.
Tabletop was the other one. Because they provided a mat, hadn't they? They don't have a mat. Bought on.
Yeah. Proxy Wargaming's got vouchers that they sent through for us.
Okay.
That we can just give out. And
then, they're good.
Yeah.
Proxy
and then Emerald Hobbies are doing the raffle, the big box raffle, which is that. I keep calling it Slaves. Is it Slaves of Darkness is the army, isn't it? I don't know how.
That's the 9th age one,
Yeah. War. Like, what's it? Avernus? No. Something of Avernus? I can't remember.
Yeah,
what the box is called.
of Avernus. Yeah.
It's
AOS, but it's what the back. It's what the box is named.
Yeah. So that's
it's just Warriors of Chaos.
Warriors of Chaos. Yeah, sorry.
Perfect for Old World. That box, I bet.
Oh, perfect! Easy. Like really, and much of they're trying to avoid crossover. That's like that box is right in the crosshairs.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel if Age of Sigmar had never happened and they had updated the Lizard Man, Warriors of Chaos, and Vampire Counterain, the releases that we would have gotten would have been very similar to the releases we actually got in real life.
I agree 100%. Yeah. And I don't think anyone would complain. Like, I don't think people would care too much if they swayed a little bit more into their own domain, their own IP. Do you know what I mean? Like with the getting away from straight fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, not make it go AOS-y totally, but just have their little, like what they did with dwarves. You know, like I don't know, not many people whinge about the round gyrocopters compared to the old school gyrocopters. They just sort of put up with it, even though it's different to the old style stuff. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah, and then the Emerald Hobbies is we're going to raffle that off to
that big box. Yeah,
Wires Wildlife Rescue. Is that how you say it? I don't know.
I think it's how you say it. Yeah,
It's
like the national wildlife one.
Yeah.
Is that the bird rescue?
Yeah, native.
They do birds, but it's mainly natives. Yeah,
natives. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have a raffle set up. People can buy some tickets, and then I guess we'll do it just before prizes, I guess, and see who takes the big box home. And Paddy wants to know if we can go in it. So I guess
we've been debating it internally whether we should be allowed to enter the
raffle,
the lottery, the raffle. Yeah. It just feels bizarre if one of us wins it. It'd be like
rigged.
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 I feel like really embarrassed.
I don't care about saving the koalas. I just want that box.
Awesome. Cool. So that's good.
Yeah, and I think that. Oh, and obviously, between all this admin stuff, where all three of us are furiously trying to paint these, carts and things.
These awesome creations. Yeah.
At least we don't have as many to paint as we thought.
Sort of slipping.
For me, it's like going to just contrast at the moment. Where I'm just like, no, but I want to get through it all, and then I'll do some highlights. But yes,
okay.
I'll see.
Well, we don't have to paint as many as we thought because there's probably 28 rather than 32. But we have to work out.
The problem was one got posted in the group chat a while ago, and it was all perfectly based and everything, and it's like, now I need to base mine. I was planning just goblin green, nothing.
That was Josh.
But as time ticks on, we're moving closer to the goblin green basis.
Yeah, that's right.
Josh,
I'm still a bit scared about
one big batch, and then I just stuck them on top.
Josh would have probably spent 3 weeks studying for one particular type of algae that only grows in a very particular lock within the Highlands of Scotland, and only on the first 3 days of April on an odd year. And he could tell you the anatomy as well.
That's it.
That's right, exactly.
8 hours of wet blending per model.
That's just the base.
I'm going to run out of time.
But I've been going, like, I was going really good about a week ago, and I went, I've got a week yet, and then it kept going. And then on Friday, I was like,
that's the trap.
I've got Friday, and then I was going to I'll do some on Saturday night, and then so that was my daughter's birthday. So it was Friday, but then we went out instead, and I was like, now my daughter's birthday's Saturday night, so that's a big party. And then Sunday came around, and I was like, didn't get anything done. I got a few done, but so now I'm down to 2 nights left. So I have to get them done.
And I'll sit down and start. I'll do paint. I'll do cast afternoon, and then suddenly I'll get emails about Cancon and stuff, and I'll just be completely distracted, for like 2 hours just doing admin stuff.
We'll get them. We'll get them there. Cool. Oh well, we better get.
It'll look great. Yeah, it will look great.
Yeah, they will. And technically an extra day if you really want to paint on the Friday night there, but I'm not taking paints with me.
Whatever you get done, you get done. Then you can just have fun on the weekend.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of a lot of people walking away with a model, with something from the tournament, as a reminder of it. I think it's worth the crazy amount of effort of painting up all these models to give away.
I agree.
You sculpted it. I don't know how many hours you've spent on them.
I know. That, and then all the trophies and all those.
So are the trophies painted, or did you just like are you doing
coloured
gold? Yeah. Okay.
Just God, I can't remember the brand of spray paint.
Like army.
One of the cheap Bunnings ones.
Oh yeah, okay, yep.
Fiddly bit.
Or whatever. Yeah. No, cool. Okay. Any other Cancon stuff you guys want to talk about, or you want to get into some lists?
I think we can get into some lists. I think.
Yeah, cool.
Shall we?
Right on the 30-minute-ish mark. That sounds good. Who wants to start? So, I mean, we've gone, like, there is, like I said, there's 54 lists, so we're not going to go through all of them. But I guess we wanted to pick out a couple that, just that each of us maybe thought were interesting or had questions about. Probably more on my side, it's probably more, what does this thing do? But, who wants to kick off? Is there any, Andrew, you had a couple there that you thought?
Oh, yeah. So I haven't gone too out there. I've kept within safe waters, and I've got 2 high elf lists and a dwarf list. So I just felt more comfortable there. So I'll hit up the dwarf one first.
I'll bring up my screen too, just for people watching.
Are we just doing first names?
I don't know. Now they can see my screen, so all the names are up there. So
okay.
Yeah, no, so, because it's all posted on Facebook now.
Troy Kent's.
Oh, yep.
Yep. So I didn't mind this list. I felt this list is just a quintessential dwarf list. When I looked at it, it's literally, you got your engineer there, you got your runesmith, your thane, your dwarf. So on top of that, obviously, you've got your cannon, bolt thrower, organ gun, and then you're running warrior blocks, longbeard, and iron breakers. Like, it was just quintessential. That's why I looked at it. I'm like, this is like just an army that could be on like your normal, your dwarf army book.
The back of your white dwarf picture.
Yeah, it just had everything in there.
The battle box.
Yeah. I've seen these played, and they go all right. It was just like kind of stood out because a lot of the time people, I don't know, for me, sort of go a little bit more heavy on shooting. It is reasonably heavy, but it's not going too over the top. I believe he's probably going to be going for like a staticky castle up, which I think you kind of have to when you got that much
that's dwarves.
War machines. I don't mind the list. I think iron breakers are always good, and then you've got your longbeards, obviously going to be your hammer, and then you got your iron breakers, your anvil, or you've obviously got your warriors as well. I don't mind thunderers. Again, I wouldn't go any more than 10. What is done, and then his lord's not too bad, and then runesmith again, plus a thane. It's got a good amount of sort of characters in there.
How did the shield bearers go in 6? Because I haven't played them in 6.
Oh, they're good.
Good.
Yeah, just because it takes up sort of like 2 spots. I don't. Yeah, and it's not super expensive.
I've fought this list before because Troy's a bit of a local. Had a good number of games with him, and it's a beautiful army. A lot of old metal models.
Yeah, it seems that way. Yeah,
and it is just a very fair, very normal dwarf list.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you could easily have almost like twice as much shooting, and I think the separation from that really, really elevates it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's good, and he's got like enough variety where he can sort of tackle, a lot of different armies out there, because he does have the bolt thrower and the cannon, which can obviously take on monsters, and then obviously you got your organ gun, which can take on, more of your higher armor, night blocks and things like that to a certain degree. So yeah, I think it's a very it's a bit of an all-rounder.
And I mean, it's going to always suffer just from being slow, I guess. But that's just dwarves. I mean, there's nothing much you probably can do about that.
Well, you got a lot of points in those static ones. That's the problem things like Thunderers is you can't really move your Thunderers, and then you've got 500 odd points in War Machines, or well, not quite, but with your Thunderers you would. So you kind of I dare say it's going to be castling up in a corner. I don't know his play style. Paddy obviously plays with him, but not like super castling up, but just sort of like.
It's the classic, you don't move for the first 2 turns, and now you're within that dwarf engagement range, whittled down, and that's when you have to deal with the big scary blocks. It's classic dwarves.
Yeah. Not over the top. I think it's like you said, a fair list. There's nothing stupid in the list that I thought. It was just a good old-fashioned list, which is good to see.
Cool.
Anybody else got any points for that?
I don't.
No.
Yeah.
The next was Stevie's Stapleton. He's got his High Elf Sea Patrol list. I actually don't mind the old Sea Patrol.
Oh man, yeah.
I was wanting to talk about that.
It's very.
We had some debates.
It's a lot of short. Small. Obviously, it's got the majors in there. It's very shooty. I think if you can't get across quickly, to a certain degree, you might have problems with this list as well. I don't know. I'd love to see your. I don't mind it, but obviously it's quite like there's a lot of units and there's a lot of shooting.
What do these guys do again? Because there's something different with these sea ranges and stuff, isn't there?
So they get an entire turn of shooting before the game starts, and they can shoot as if they're at standard range.
Right.
Yes.
And they can pick out lone characters that are not in units.
Yeah, so it's kind of meant to.
Yeah. The thing to remember is it was errated, so you can't focus fire on one unit. You've got to sequentially shoot one unit at a time.
Yeah.
And then go back and repeat the sequence.
Which does make it better, but I in looking at this list and trying to work out, I kind of hate it. It's a lot better than it was because there's a Merworm there rather than
rather than
two more bolt throwers.
The situation.
Because we put in our player pack, and it's in a lot of other player packs. The type of armies that we don't really want to see, and 2 of them were gunline armies and avoidance armies.
Yeah.
And this kind of is both, in my opinion. And unfortunately, that kind of seems fundamental to the Sea Patrol list. There's no way to, in the Dwarf list we saw previously, balance it out with a big combat unit or diversify it, at all. But I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on Sea Patrol as a whole, because I kind of hate it.
I mean, Oh, sorry.
It could have been a little bit worse if some of the characters were on eagles and there was more mobility. And that's
the worst thing. Yeah, it could have been even worse.
It's a pretty immobile list, and the fast armies will probably be able to close down on it. But it's still not producing an enjoyable game, even then. It's sort of you either get shot off or you catch them, and then that's it, kind of thing. There's no combat unit, there's nothing else. There's a lot of magic, a lot of shooting, and then and that's the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were you saying, ASB?
A Merworm adds a bit of more dimensions to it. Yeah, sorry, go Andrew. Angus, sorry.
It's actually funny. I was nicknamed Andy at my cricket club when I first started playing there because they thought my name was Andy. It's that typical. I think anything that's low armor, low toughness will struggle against it. So the likes of Empire, goblins, those types of armies will struggle against it. Any undead will rinse it for the most part, unless you just make sure you deploy your Liege Priest or your Vampire inside a unit. Anything high armor, i.e., Empire Cav armies, high elf Cav armies, and Bretonnians in particular, will just run over the top of it, depending on how he plays it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see, like, do those Sea Rangers, are they basically what are they called?
They're Shadow Warriors.
Shadow Warriors. Yeah. I mean, if all 4 of them scout, then you've got to deploy for that if you're playing against it, because you don't want to get caught in a position where, let's say I'm a Bretonnian player, I'm using my Bretonnians, and I deploy badly. He's able to then he gets first turn because I pray, and he gets in a position where he can mark turn 1. That's where a list like this, because of those 4 units of Sea Rangers, can really cause damage, because he's getting extra turns of shooting. He gets basically 2 turns before I've even had a chance to move. I'm now march blocked, and I'm only moving 8 inches if I'm a cav army. I'm only moving 4 inches if I'm an infantry army. And let's say I'm using flanks, but I can't then afford to move up too much in the center, because I risk then my line becoming broken. So I think that's it's all about how you deploy against it, and also potentially matchup dependent as well.
I feel as well with like a cavalry list, or even like most like kind of normal lists, after you finish marching up the board to this, there's nothing really to like fight that's worth any points. Like it's mainly just the characters that get that should hopefully be able to just run around and juke. And again, could be much worse if they were mounted on eagles. It's only 3 units of 10 Sea Guard.
Yeah.
And almost feels like you're wasting a turn with a big block of Grail Knights that take them out.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get your points back, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
So we actually, I was interested to see. So that list has been drawn up against
what's the matchup?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, is that the interesting Bretonnian list with like 20 units of 5 Knights Errant?
No. This is who, I can't remember.
Who was it?
That was Tuttles. It's Jamie Payne's list.
Oh yeah.
Angus.
That's one of my ones I was talking about. Yeah, he's a good player.
I feel like he might have had a hand in his list
because it's the Territory War one. Yeah.
So Jamie, for those who don't know who Jamie is, Jamie won Cancon in 8th edition. I think it was the 2nd year of 8th edition. He plays in the 9th Age ETC team. He's probably in the top 3 players for 9th Age and probably for 8th edition in Australia.
I remember his name from 8th edition.
And he is very well known in Europe and the UK, because he went and traveled. I think he did a year of backpacking around working in a pub in England and basically playing tournaments. He's a very, very good player. Has never played 6th edition until Friday night. I played him. He asked me.
Wow.
Yeah, to learn the game. I actually had no part in the list, because obviously if I had, he would have taken the hippogriff with the because he was like to me after, he's like, I wish I had that guy. He actually got him though. I was like, have you got, like, what's your static combat res? I flank charged his big night boss, and I was like, it's just standard and outnumber. Yeah, I was like, you don't have the virtue of duty. He's like, nah. Then we're doing combat res, and I was like, it was like, oh wow, I've got the war banner. I was like, and I broke, and he ran me down. I mean, it was.
So this is a different list to what he was using against you. If you have a look at it.
So it does have a hippogriff.
Did he resubmit?
Yes. He took the 7-point penalty and resubmitted it.
7-point penalty.
Oh, this is going to be
did he?
Oh, man.
This is going to be fun.
I forwarded it. Did you see it? I forwarded it to you.
Oh, this is going to be because he's banking on. That's good. I like it.
I did not realise
he'll take his -7 and still smash it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yep. But see, this type of, because it's got so, this is similar to, I'm not similar, but Brett's like going back to what you said, ASP. Like I feel like when you've got enough high armor units that are cav, then you can probably try and at least, even if he's got all those other little not the Shadow Warriors, what are they called? The other guys in the way. At least you can get rid of them in almost 1 or 2 turns, if you know what I mean. Like but if you just had 1 or 2 big units, you're not going to get anything done because he'll just sit there with 90-point blocks stopping you all game. Whereas this type of list feels like he can probably get through them, and he's got the flying characters to go for the other characters.
100%.
So
he basically
seems like a very familiar list.
Yeah,
takes me back to Newcastle last year.
Copy and paste.
It's slightly different. Like he's got Peg Knights, I've got a Treb. I'm surprised he didn't.
It's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same. But
it's a very similar skeleton. But. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. That's funny. I didn't.
Well, that's cool because this is one of the ones I was looking at because I looked at him and went, I do not. I know, like I've played him ages ago in 8th. I mean, I know he's a good player, and I was like, I didn't realize he'd only played 6th like the other day. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's awesome. He's back in it. Yeah. I mean, obviously he's been playing 9th, but yeah, cool. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Should we go one more? Do you want one more from me?
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, all right. This is a very close dear to my heart list. It's not my own.
It's the other.
It's
the
other.
Another high elf one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's quite similar. It doesn't have the Dragon Lord, but it does have the other dragon in there.
Who is it? Which one?
The Dragon Lord.
Oh, it's Frank Ansel?
Yeah, Frank Ansel.
Does Frank
have
a
podcaster?
Yeah, is running the
Does the War Dragon?
Sarniel.
Yeah.
Rare.
Yeah. So he's running his High Elf Prince on a steed. Probably just a bit of combat res in there. He's running the BSB with the bullshit banner, Gome's favourite. The battle banner. He's got 2 bigger blocks than what I do, running 11 silver helms, which they're good if you get hit with your silver helms. It's good to have a bit of redundancy. I don't have that in my list. He's running 10 archer block, which I've got. He's running 2 chariots. I got the 3. He's running the reavers. He paid for the bows. I can't believe he paid for the bows because they're so friggin' expensive. He's running 2 eagles as well, and his dragon. So it's a very, very similar theme to probably what I'm running.
So what's this one? Like, is that a special? Like, is that is that just in the Hive book, or is this what's this guy?
Nah, it wasn't War of the Beard.
No. I think it came out with the Dogs of War book. It was one of those regiments of renown.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I haven't seen the stats on him. I think he's pretty decent.
He doesn't do anything crazy, I don't think.
Yeah.
He's pretty much just a elf hero on a dragon.
So 5 wings, is it? Tough 5 or something? 5 wings?
I'm
4
not
wings,
sure.
tough 5? Yeah. It's kind of like a decent dragon. It's kind of like that mid-rangey sort of utility.
Okay, cool.
So,
well, so the fluff...
very, very similar to mine. So
the fluff behind Asano...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Asano is like... Apart from Imric, he's the only other named, known, living Dragon Prince of Kalador in the game.
Yeah, right.
So Imric obviously is one, and Asano is one as well. But he basically after, I can't remember if it was after the War of the Beer or after the Sundering, he basically almost did the whole I'm going to abdicate and piss off basically, and roams around the world because he was so upset with what happened. Is essentially his fluff.
Yeah. List-wise, what do you guys think? I think it's a decent list. I think it's quick. It's one of those ones where there's quite a bit of utility. Actually, looking at it, I think it's actually a bit better than mine.
How would he set up the heroes in these silver helms? Do you think? Like, is that going to be flexible, or is one built for always? One's in one, the BSB's in the other, or what do you generally do there?
probably do either or. I just like having it so that both, like, because a Silverhelm's unit by itself can be quite weak. I do feel like if you put a character in there, he's running 2 chariots, so if you have a chariot going in with the Silverhelm block, you're doing quite a bit of damage. The Silverhelms do need a bit of, even with a character in there, unless it's massively choppy, you really just need that chariot to do those extra sort of 2-3 wounds. I think that helps out a lot, especially with that battle banner. If you got that battle banner coming in, yeah.
What does the Lawmaster's
He's
cloak
got a
do?
war banner in there.
I think it's level 1 wizard.
So that's his wizard.
No, yeah, because he doesn't have a wizard here at all. Hey, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Would that be high magic, or is that?
Yeah, right.
Well, I think what he's going for there is it gives him an extra dispel dice if it makes him a level 1 wizard, but I'm assuming he also then gets access to the +1 dispel. So although he only has 3 dice, he gets +1 to any dispel attempt. So it kind of means that he can either, let's say it's a big spell like a Curse of Years, for example, on one of those Silverhelm units, which is not something that you want going off, or a Uranon's Thunderbolt, whatever the spell is. If he 3 dice as the dispel, he gets +1 to his dispel, so he gets a max of 19. Or let's say it's being that they're elves, say it's Law of Fire is probably not a good example because it's only AP 1. But yeah, like something that's gonna say be -2 to his armor, he could 1 dice and get +1 to dispel on that dice, and then +1 on 2 dice to stop another spell.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's a
Good.
good list.
I like it.
I like having 3 quite powerful, similarly pointed. Like they're all each. No, there's two boxes of Silverhelms with a character all about 500 points. A dragon's about 500 points, and I think if something got around his flanks, he'd struggle a bit. But I think he's very mobile.
He's got 2
pretty straightforward.
Yeah. What are you getting around his flanks for too? There's nothing there anyway. So he's.
You got 10.
The Silverhelms. If the Silverhelms get, yeah.
Well, I think the Eagles.
And he's. Oh, you go.
I was just going to say, I think the Eagles, in reference to getting around his flanks, it's a very flexible list. He can, let's say, use the Eagles as what I like to call chaff and chase, which is where you just run a unit of fast cab up or a flying eagle, something like that, and block so that you know that you're going to get the charge. If they charge the eagle, and the eagle flees, or he can run the eagles behind his cav units. So if someone does try to get behind, he can just redirect them away for a turn to allow him time to break through, and be out of. So I actually really like the list. I think it just lacks just the time, probably 1 dice for me on magic defense.
It doesn't have anything else. There's no scrolls, no nothing. So.
Yeah. I think that the one thing to highlight, though, that is absolutely hilarious is who he's been paired against in round 1. I
just
realized. It's a very interesting matchup. These two have never fought each other before. It's an unknown.
New ground.
A big podcast episode for them.
It's all.
They probably work
completely random, by the way. This is not on purpose.
Well, did you see? That's funny. He's it's Alex Burkett. Is he pretty much taking? Is that the similar list that he took to Cancon with the not Cancon Castle with the Savage Orcs? He's got is that one?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a couple of differences, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Oh, that's so funny.
So funny.
We probably should have asked them that because I blocked out me and Andrew on round 1, so we didn't get paired up. Just so we didn't go all the way down there and get paired up for game 1.
Yeah.
Probably should have thought of that, but that's.
They'll be sharing the car ride
that's
together
funny.
and everything.
Yeah. That's funny. Cool.
That's it. That's my.
What did you think, ASB? Which ones did you think were interesting that you saw?
I'm just going to get rid of the ones.
I don't know how long you got the lists, but.
I'm just get rid of the ones that have been taken from me by Andrew. All right, so there's a Bretonnian list that I like. I don't know how to go. It got sort of slightly mentioned before, and it's a Knights Errant list that has. I'm just going to go through Actually, I'll go through the characters first, and we'll leave the suspense just to build a little bit. So it's got a Bretonian Lord.
Is it Aris's?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, this is Aristotle. So he's got a Brett Lord who has an Enchanted Shield, Biting Blade, Virtual Confidence, Gauntlet of the Duel, and a Warhorse. He's got a Damsel with a Dispel Scroll. He's got a Damsel with a Dispel Scroll and a Warhorse. Then he's got BSB with Gromwell Greathelm, the auto include. He then has 5x5 Knights Errant with the Errantry banner. And then he has 6x5 Knights Errant with the Errantry banner. Obviously, they all get champions for free. I think, from what I can see, it hasn't taken musicians, which is always a big cross for me. Musicians are...
there's some in here.
It just looks like an Errantry banner Cavalier.
It's coming up here, but I don't know if is that just special rules listed? In Army Builder? I don't know.
But,
no, I think it is because the Cavalier's just got the extra stat. That's probably why it's separate. Is that what you mean?
Okay, in that case, yeah, I was going full command. No ground champions. And then
1, 2.
So
I think 2 units don't have musicians.
Okay, right.
And then the rest of them do.
Yeah, this one doesn't.
It's a bit confusing.
Yeah, so that's going to get hard to track. And then he's just got 2 units of 5 yeomen. So I think it's it's an interesting. I found it like there's a few lists actually that I've picked to talk about that I think are quite funny, and this is one of them. I think this is actually relatively strong. It's going to struggle in certain matchups because it just lacks. It's mobile, but it's not 360 20-inch fly mobile, if that makes sense. It's got good magic defense. It can countercharge with the world. So I think it's a good list, but it will struggle in a couple of matchups.
Do you think he ran out of Knights Errant and that's why he included the Yeoman?
Or maybe that's why he started including musicians.
89.
Just like 80.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, that's
a lot.
That's the one, the first one I'll talk about.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Really, like depends on if he's able to set up the right charges or not.
Do they almost get in each other's way at some point?
Sometimes, like I feel like if you're charging in the front, you're only going to get maybe 2 units at most, and then I don't know. I feel like weapon skill 3, there wasn't hitting on 4s. You might easily fluff a lot of attacks. You're not going to get a huge amount of static combat res with these blocks and. Unless you're getting something else in the flank, I just feel like sometimes against the chunkier units, they're going to sort of bounce off them, I reckon. But I don't know. Very matchup dependent, as you say.
I'm going to save my funniest list till last. So another one I'm going to go through is Nick Taylor. So I played Nick. If anyone's listened to the Rank Bonus podcast, Nick and I had we basically played top table at what's that Sylvania Con? Is that what it's called, Paddy?
All right.
Moab?
The Moab one?
No, the other one at the same place earlier in the year. ShireCon.
ShireCon?
Yeah. So Nick and I played at ShireCon, and if you listen to the Rank Bonus podcast, you'll be able to hear about basically we were top table. I needed a 16-4 win to get first, and he needed to keep me at 15 points or less.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And there was with this particular scenario, the way it worked was table quarters weren't the normal, one model ties and flyers can't capture and all that kind of thing. It was basically if you had a unit strength 5 unit, you got extra tournament points basically as a scenario. And I had charged a unit of 5 Furies into 10 Bowmen, but I was in ranks, and so I went stand and shoot, and I got 1 wound, and he rolled a 6 on his ward save, and then that was his turn 6, And then in my turn 6, I then shot them. And again, I got 1 wound, and he rolled a ward save, and he passed it. He rolled a 5. And he later counted up the points and everything, and I'd beaten him 15-5, including the scenario. Had he failed that ward save, I would have beat him 17-3. And so it was literally those 2 dice rolls. So Nick is a pretty good player. Slightly different list to what he's normally got. What I like about it is, I think. I'll give context. He's got a Slaanesh Beastman army. What I like about Slaanesh with beasts is it mitigates one of the beast book's biggest issues, which is low leadership. So he's got a Demon Prince, Marcus Slaanesh, level 3 Wizard, Diabolic Splendor, Blades of the Ether, Unholy Icon, Soul Hunger. 545 points. He's a level 3 Wizard. Obviously, you can go Law of Slaanesh, or he'd be able to go Shadows or Death from memory. Diabolic Splendor, Blades of the Ether. So Diabolic Splendor means he's always got a ward save instead of the losing it to magic. Blades of the Ether is no armor saves. Unholy Icon is...
That's the one that lets a demon lead beasts.
Yep. I can't remember what Soul Hunger does. But that's a really good model. If you think back to the last podcast I was on with you guys, I talked about having every selection in my list has to have 2 roles. And for me, this guy fulfills so many different roles. Because he's a level 3 wizard, in certain matchups, he can just fly around the board and use the spells that he has access to influence the game. Or if they're damage spells, again, to influence the game in that regard. Obviously charge when he needs to. He can march block, and obviously he can fly that 20 inches to give his high leadership, his leadership 10, to a low leadership army. So I think it's really clever. 2 Bray Shamans as well, so it's a very magic-heavy list. Both level 2s, one with the Stark of Darkoth, Chaos Armor, one with the Bray Staff, Spell Familiar, and Dispel Scroll. So he's got good magic defense, he's got good magic offense, and really good flexibility in that. The key there is the high leadership from the Demon Prince. He's got, for his core, 2 Gore Ungor herds, one with 6 Gore, 6 Ungors, standard musician, with additional hand weapons, and the other one is the same full command on both units, but the other one's only 5 and 5. Tuskor Chariot, Marcus Slaanesh, although I actually don't know if you can mark Tuskor Chariots, guys, just on list checking. That came up.
We saw that before, and it's debatable, but we bought his explanation of why he was allowed to do it.
No, it made sense in the books, like once you look into it.
Pretty sure it's not actually an option.
It would have been it would have been great if there was an FAQ either way, but it was vague enough that it's fine.
Well, it's in there now. Slotted in.
No, it's in.
Hey, sorry, just go back to the Gore Ungor stuff. What's the foe renderer? Is that just...
that's the unit camp.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. Just I thought it was weird being 20 points, but yeah, cool.
So then he's got...
Bestigor block.
Yeah, then he's got 20 Bestigors, full command, Warbanner, and Marcus Slaanesh. They're immune to psychology. Again, mitigating that low leadership. 5 Furies for some flying chaff, because there ain't no chaff like flying chaff. Then he's got his hammer, along with the Demon Prince, 4 Dragon Ogres, Great Weapons, Light Armor, and then 2 Chaos Spawn. I think it's an interesting one, the Tuskor Chariot with the Marcus Slaanesh. From my memory from reading the book, like you can't do it, but obviously you're the TOs, it's your ruling. But also you can't flee with that chariot, which is, I think, one thing that I would personally not take at March, so I can flee if I need to. But yeah, I think it's a really good list. It's erring on the side of magic heavy. I'm personally not a fan of, like I think I've said before, you pick 2 things and you make sure you're really good at them. Magic, apart from when I'm playing Vampire, counts because it's kind of, you have to. It's not something that I invest a lot of points in, but, it obviously can work. It's just too risky for my liking. But yeah, I think that's a really, really good list, and I would not be surprised if he is pushing into that top 10, if not top 5, maybe even a podium.
How strong are the Dragon Ogres in 6th?
They're pretty tough.
They're pretty tough.
Because it's funny when you see light armor, but I think they get a 4-up scaly skins. They've actually got a 3-up save. The toughness 5. Yeah, right. I think it's strength 6 or strength 7 with great weapons.
They reached that strength 7 with great weapons. Yeah, you can.
Well, they got like
deal
4
with
attacks
carry
or something.
Yeah, right. 4 wounds. I think. Do they have regeneration as well? They might.
No.
Yeah.
Can't remember. I know they've got some kind of
tough Dragon Ogres. No.
Yeah.
They've got the gimmicky lightning rule.
Is that yeah.
They hate flyers and all that. And the other thing I'd also just point out is the beauty with Chaos Swarm, and they've got Marcus Slanesh, is they roll 1 extra dice for their random movement. So they can actually move 18 inches a turn if you get double box cars plus 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely I think a really good, well-rounded list. Very flexible. The other, is it okay if I go through 2 more? One of them won't be very long.
Go for it, because 2 of mine are already gone, so it's fine.
Oh, cool. Okay, I've actually got 6 more open if you want me to keep going. But
I think I've got an Empire one here somewhere and something else, but yeah.
So
anyway,
Tim Stewart,
go for it, mate.
So I play cricket with Tim. He's becoming a good mate of mine. And we met through the hobby. Ben Leopold, who's going, also the same. Actually, we met through the hobby, and now we've played cricket together.
Oh, this is the double wyvern, double giant. This is the other one I had. Yep.
Oh, sorry, mate. I actually played Tim.
Damn it.
I played Tim not last Friday because I played Jamie last Friday. I played Tim the Friday before with this list, and it was. I think the score was 12-8 to myself with that CA Bretonian list. I got off to a really good start when I think it was like, I think he miscast and he basically didn't get any. I can't remember, something bad happened. I think it was the shaman, not the great shaman from memory, miscast and blew his head off. He rolled a 1 in the second turn.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He pulled it back pretty well. It's Orc and Goblin lists. I've never seen one with such a low model count. It is tiny for an Orc and Goblin list, but it's got 4 large targets.
It's only got 1 unit, doesn't it?
2.
The Night Goblins. It's got Fanatic delivery system, and then
the Orc boys.
Yeah,
it's got some boys.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. It's only the Orc boys is about the only
units.
But 4 large targets, 2 flyers. It's got some decent shooting. It's a wacky list. I think it'll catch a few people off guard because they probably won't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And Tim's a pretty good player as well. He came 3rd at one of the events I ran up here recently with his Bretonians. So when I say recently, it was 8 months ago. But yeah, I think it's a wacky list. It's kind of fun. It's Orc magic, right? You never know what's going to happen. You can go and get stomped on and here we go and all that jazz, and you just get taken off by the magic because he's got the double do and do-dahs as well. Giants can be swingy, so it's one of those lists that everything can go terribly because it's Orcs, and it's got giants and it's got those weird and wacky things, but it also, if it comes off, it can, especially with the extra mobility from the Wyverns. So that's another one I like.
I just love it because coming from 8th edition and hadn't played a lot of Sixth up until this year or last year. I didn't see Orcs with Wyverns and Giants. I just didn't see them, so it's that's why I liked this list. I wasn't sure how powerful it was, but it's good to know that it's got some. It could be a tough matchup, but as you said, it could also just be Orcs and do what Orcs do.
Yeah,
there's only one. So I was going to say there's only one bunker, really, isn't there?
Yeah,
you got the Orc boys that you're putting the 2 shamans.
No, one shaman's on the. Oh no, hang on. So yeah, you're right. Sorry, they're both in there.
So you got the general and the other shaman. You don't obviously have to put them in there, but I'd be guessing.
I think he changed it because I think when I played, he had a Night Goblin shaman and then the Orc Great shaman. So I think Yeah, the Night Goblin went in the Night Goblins, and then the Orc Great Shaman went in the boys. But I mean, he's also got 4 large targets that cause terror, right? So in certain matchups, you know, like terror bombs, and I actually got terror bombed in that game. That's what kind of broke the game back in his favour. It was looking probably like a 20-0 at the start of turn 3, and he managed to peg it back. I think it was either 13-7 or 12-8 my way after that. So yeah, it was quite funny. That's
cool.
There's actually is it okay? I have two more, and then I'm done. I promise.
Just one thing I'll say before we move on. It's interesting to see he's been drawn against the first list we mentioned, Troy Kent's Dwarves.
Oh, classic matchup. Classic matchup.
That'd be good. That'd be a good matchup.
I don't rate the Goblins very highly in that matchup.
Because it doesn't.
There's enough shooting to deal with large targets.
Yeah, agreed.
You'd like to think
there's a lot of large targets.
Yeah.
There's a lot of +1 to hit.
Yeah.
So this one is more of a. I don't mind special characters, but Archaon, really?
Oh, that's
Oh no, we've got Archaon. Oh god.
Yeah, I saw that one. Oh, where was it?
So Nesbitt, I think.
Yeah, Tim. I know Tim. I've met him in a few 9th Age tournaments. Good guy, really good guy. But yeah, I was looking at the list. I was like, oh, he's only got 1 character. But I was like, that's weird. It said Archaon. It must
you get down the bottom. It's the last one at the bottom.
yeah.
855 points.
So he's got a sorcerer, who is a level 1 Slaanesh, 2 scrolls. 4 Knights of Chaos that are undivided that are chosen. I'm assuming they're his, what are they called? The last, or the Swords of Chaos, because he has to have them.
I think that's right.
They've got to be,
Then he's got 6 Knights who are Slaanesh, full command. He's got 11 Warriors. That's obviously where the Sorcerer goes. 5 Furies, 2 units of 5 Warhounds, a Spawn, an Archaon, Lord of the End Times. That's wild.
Lord of fucking your day up.
It's... Look, you've got to... When you're playing against a list like that with someone like Archaon, you need to then really draw on the rules of the sort of, I guess, more advanced rules. For example, I'm trying to line up a flank charge on the flank of those knights that Archaon is not on, so he doesn't get to fight me, he can't issue a challenge, and I break him on combat res. So I'm trying to get a lance of knights into his flank. I don't believe he makes the unit stubborn. If he does, that's probably not going to work either. I can't remember, to be honest.
I don't think he does.
Yeah, I'm
pretty sure
hope
he doesn't,
because that's not going to be fun for someone if he does. But yeah, I think that's the kind of strategy you've got to try and employ, is go, well, he, if he doesn't get to fight me, then, and I can break him on static res and run him down. But I haven't seen anyone that can match him in combat so far from all the lists I've seen.
Yeah.
Maybe if there's, I didn't look through all the Wood Elf lists. If there's someone with annoyance of netlings, that would be pretty funny, watching Archaon get stuck in a challenge hitting on 6s. He does have enough attacks, though, that he could probably still do it. But yeah.
8 attacks or something?
Yeah, something like that. 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think there is some annoyance. Yeah, there is at least one list.
I remember someone tried to do that with a Treeman Ancient, and we said...
Oh, that was a backup list. Yeah. We do have an elf-only Wood Elf list with a Highborn in a block of... has he got Eternal Guard? Yeah, in a block of Eternal Guard, and he's got the Annoyance of Netlings going on that one.
Yeah, it's a good combo.
So who's Tim's matched up against?
Who knows, bit?
It'd be very funny if Archaon was fighting Snotlings.
No,
Snotlings.
No, that's my final list.
Timothy Bolton.
The Snotlings.
Oh, yeah. 2 Tims going at it.
So, another dwarf.
Oh, is this the... Oh, no. No, it's not the one I was thinking.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the dwarves in that matchup. Unless they can get, you only need to kill 1 or 2 knights before you can start picking out Archaon, or at least randomizing to hit him. Possible. But yeah, that's
he's got more shooting, but he doesn't.
I mean,
cannons.
what's Archaon's defenses? Is it a 3-up ward?
Yeah, because he's got the Eye of Zench, doesn't
he? Yeah, he's got a 3-up ward.
Yes,
Eye of Shirian, apparently.
Is he in the
I've got it here.
Storm of Chaos?
He's just in the regular book. He's just in the Hordes of Chaos book. I've got it up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a 3-up. He's tough 5 with 4 wounds and a 3-up ward.
Yeah.
I mean, all you need to do is get unlucky with, like, 1 cannon, but no, that is definitely hard to do.
And he's got a 1-up save, and also you can't wound him at anything better than a 3-up with his magic armor. So it's hard to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if the organ gun has a lucky go of it, can shred his bodyguard, take a wound or 2 off the big man. And then hope Slayers can do it? I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, you just need more mobility to be able to dictate how you end up in combat with him.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
It's even by himself, he's just got so many attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like he doubles his attacks when he releases the sword. He goes to 10 attacks. It's 3-5. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's kind of fitting, actually, that like he's playing in, what will be the last big 6th edition tournament when he was the one that, caused the end times and
destroyed the world.
Destroyed the world, and it's kind of funny. So yeah, that was the other, and then the last list. So the last list I wanted to go through is just literally for lols, because I think this is hilarious. And this is Cameron Atkinson. I would buy this guy a beer. So he's got an all Snotling army. I think is it from a White Dwarf? That list?
No, back of the book. This was with the army book.
There you go. So it's back of the book. So he's got a Snotling War Boss, which is a Night Goblin Big Boss with Walloper's 1-hit wonder, and that's it. That's all his characters. He's then got 10 Snotling bases.
What the hell's a Walloper's 1-hit wonder?
It's like 1 attack.
It's like 1 strength 10 hit.
And it's D6 wounds or something like that, I think.
Okay.
Something like that.
So D6 wounds.
8 Snotling bases, 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 4 Snotling bases, 4 Snotling bases, 3 Snotling bases, 3 Snotling bases, 3 Snotling bases, 2 Snotling bases, 2 Snotling bases, 2 Snotling bases, 2 Snotling bases. I couldn't even do it in one breath. 4 pump wagons. It's just
a lot of wounds there you got to get through.
You've got to admire the dedication, because you can take giants in the Snotling list, and I've theory crafted this list before. You max out pump wagons, you take 2 giants, and then you need 55 Snotling bases to fill out 2,000 points. And the man traded in giants for more Snotlings.
It's 4 wounds a base, isn't it? For Snotlings or 5?
5, if memory serves. I don't know.
It's a lot. They're unstable but unbreakable.
Yep.
I think. Being swarm.
I'm not sure if they're unstable in this edition. I know
they're not.
Oh.
Yeah,
but
stick.
They're actually kind of not great swarms. I remember I ran a decent block of Snotlings one time, and it just got wrecked by Skaven rat swarms. So just better.
There are only 3 wounds per base.
Really?
3 wounds, 3 attacks.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not as bad.
What's their actual leadership value?
10.
Right. So I
they're unbreakable though, aren't they? Right?
Yeah, they're unbreakable.
I was just thinking more for like if the casket went off. If they were leadership 10, damn it.
I don't think the casket works on unbreakable models.
Yeah, it does. It does because it's not a leadership test.
Does it?
It's just leadership plus 2.
Yeah, I think it was.
It's not a banshee screen. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It works, but I mean, leadership too, you got to be rolling 11 or 12s to do any damage on it, really.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the other.
I don't know. I'm just.
It's funny, but
it's
going to
ruin.
I'm just.
It's going to ruin someone's day.
They're 40s, aren't they? Like, I'm just wondering how big this army is when you lay it out.
Yeah, they're 40s.
Yeah.
I think he's posted photos of it a month
did
or two ago up on the Facebook somewhere.
Are they like
amazing.
G-dub snotlings, or has he found like heaps of 3D print ones, or you can't tell because they're too small?
Yeah, they're tiny. I don't know.
Some of them are so funny. I love my snotlings. They're so cool. Like the drunk pair and the dude got his ass out and stuff. They're funny.
I'm trying to get a snotling force together, and the challenge is only Games Workshop official one.
Right, yeah.
I think I'm up to like 20, but God, it's already more than I'd ever use.
Yeah, you got 20 snotling bases. You mean that you've got?
Yeah, and I'm not being stingy. It's 5 snotlings a base.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
I'm just trying to work this out, but so you're like, all right, for the 10 base snotling block.
That's his big block.
Big block. You got 30 wounds to get through. I don't care what you got. That's the massive tar pit. You got all these other tar pits. He's not killing you. You're not killing him. You're just going to be this big tar pit for.
I just can't. It doesn't even matter if you kill him because then he's got all these other ones behind.
Yeah, I know. I'm just. It's kind of weird and clever in its own way.
It's like the game.
The scenario. The problem is he's not going to win any of the scenarios, is he? Really?
Because it all has to do with characters and unit champions and diddly.
Yeah. But at the same time, you're not going to be. I don't know if you're going to be 20-0ing him at the same time. Like, it's going to be a bit.
I don't know. It's for the High Elf Sea Patrol list. It's like one of those at the arcade like shooting gallery games where it's about getting the high score.
Yeah, what would his breakpoint be for the scenario 4?
1.
No, that's it has to be the general. Hey, he's got to be.
Yeah,
the general,
so it'd be 2 points for him.
Yeah. So he's auto. Hang on, is it 2 or below your break?
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 2 or below or whether it's.
I think it was.
I don't have it.
Remember, we did play it. I think you get it to 2, don't you, Andrew, and then it's broken.
I think that might be the case.
Yeah. But he's going to put that in that 30 wound block. Hey, no matter what you commit to that 30 wound block, you're going to get swarmed.
You know what? I actually wonder because.
Can you put him in there if you? No,
it's not
exactly. It doesn't say what base size the Snotling Warboss should be on. It just says he's a Night Goblin Big Boss. So if he's running around on a 20mm, he's not able to join any of these units, and he's he can't even benefit from protection from them because they're swarms.
Different size, they're not the same unit type. So you don't.
He might just get instantly sniped.
End, like, okay, cool.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's maybe. Yeah.
It seems like
I wonder.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anyone cared enough about the Snotling army list to actually FAQ it.
Yeah, because it feels like they probably would be okay with doing that. You know, like just to make it
slightly usable. If he rocks up with it on a 40mm base and joins a Snotling unit with it, I don't have any complaints, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Would you guys commit to combat, Bart? That's my question. Would you commit to combat with that one of those big blocks?
Snotlings are garbage. You could chew through it 100%.
But there's a lot of garbage there that you got to chew.
Yeah, but they don't get supporting attacks. They don't get anything.
You've got to play it on
breaking.
You're
still got to get through the wounds. Yeah.
Yeah. So
making the Snotlings come to you.
So, like, I think depending on what I was using, I would potentially corner against this. You know, if I had a block heavy infantry army, I'm gonna deploy in the corner, depending on the scenario as well, obviously. And I'm just gonna be like, well, you can only, it's like the hot gates, right? You know, in 300. Make the numbers count for nothing. You can't fit as that many bases in, and so it's just gonna become of him just throwing snotlings against me. And I'm just, it's kind of what I imagine North Queensland.
I'm sure.
Just create a bottle.
Yeah.
It's like North
I'm
Queensland.
sure people can be winning, but yeah.
And
I think maybe you're overthinking it. It's you don't really need to be a tactical genius to deal with the snotling list.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, it's going to be hard to get a 20-0 off that list. Like, I reckon personally.
If you get flanked by it, though,
that's all I'm saying.
Just because you can't break them, you have to kill them all one by one.
Yeah, you got
have time to do so.
You got to kill them. Yeah.
But aren't they only 3 wounds?
Yeah, they're only 3 wounds per bay.
And what are they? Tough 2 or tough 1?
Yeah, tough 2, strength 2.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, I think you'd knock a good few out a turn, but yeah, it's.
I don't think you get.
And you're probably winning all the
the
objective points, you know.
Oh yeah, you're getting all the objectives.
And the other thing is, it doesn't matter. It's one of those lists that you just might as well go at it anyway because he can't hurt you anyway. So
yeah.
I mean, the only danger is the pump wagon.
Yeah, you get rid of that.
And the shame in getting walloped.
Yeah.
If Archaon gets walloped, he's never going to live it down. We're going to have to get a new Ever Chosen. He's gone.
Maybe this guy could actually.
You got over 200 wounds you got to get through.
maybe he should have been around in 2015, and then we wouldn't have to re-release the game because he would have stopped Archaon. And
yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean the end times authors really dropped the ball by the Snotling war boss not showing up for that final fight.
Yeah.
Ooh,
this is. I was working. I thought that was one. This is who he's playing against.
Oh, that's who he's going against.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought that was just going down, but it's actually 2 columns. Okay, now I get it. I couldn't see where all the stuff was.
Oh yeah, he sent me this list in a weird format. This was the best way to upload it.
Yeah, Zach's actually he's a club mate of mine. He lives down the road. He comes over sometimes for games. He uses Excel for his lists. That's why it's in that format.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, yes. I mean, all this stuff, you just eat through it. Just where he can eat through it fast enough, I guess. Carnosaurs, Stegodon, 3 Pterodons, 3 Croxels.
Yeah, I like this list. It's just a very normal Lizardman list, except like the main guy's on a Carnosaur, which is a nice. It's interesting.
Yeah.
No, you should. He won't have any trouble with that one, obviously. I've only got one other one, so I might just bring mine up and see what you guys thought. I just thought where was this Empire one with all those flagellants? Who was that?
Oh, that's a cool list.
Oh, yeah.
Where is it, Daniel?
Is that Dave Lewis?
I think it might be.
This is it. Yeah, this is it. So I guess my question is it good? Because I haven't seen... Again, I never saw flagellants in 8, so I was like...
So he almost...
better in 6, weren't they?
He almost really stuffed up. His only 2 2 of his characters are Sigmarite priests. You got the Art Collector, you got the Warrior Priest.
Yeah.
And if you scroll down, he had one big block of knights, which were Knights of the White Wolf. Which legally, Ulrich and Sigmar stuff don't go together.
Sigmar and that. Right, okay. Yep.
So we told him, hey, are you aware that this is a thing? And he said, oh. And changed it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this list, just so the listeners, it's Archlector of Sigmar on a warhorse, and then a Warrior Priest on a warhorse. And like you just said, Paddy, there's 8. Is it 8? Oh, 9 technically, Inner Circle Knights. Is that right with the champ? Is that how it reads? Yeah.
But I think
a big block of knights. Yeah, sorry, Joe.
He's either converted or he's done them up really nice with all these big, like, hammers and stuff. And we're kind of like, we really want to facilitate your ability to use this unit. Which is why we pulled out the old Knightly Order upgrade PDF and was like, how can we make this unit, like, let it represent how he's modeled it. Yeah. You can apparently, if you pay an extra few points per night, you can put cavalry hammers or great weapons and sort of theme it up a bit, which is
so they're just not. They've got all the rules of a White Wolf, but they're just not.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. The list is also actually slightly illegal in a different way. The Arch-Lector was not a book unit. He came in a White Dwarf, and the army list is using the Sigmarite, like, flagellant army. Says that your general must be a warrior priest, and you cannot take anyone else, basically.
Yeah, but that means like your champion's got to be like a hero level person, is that?
Yeah,
because it didn't exist as a warlord in the book when they were writing it.
Yeah.
So we basically said it passes the sniff test.
Yeah.
If this had existed at the time, it would have been in this list for sure.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And then you've got, so 2 battle level 2s, battle wizards, and then 3 units of free company. Some with light armor and then is it 3 units of 19 flagellants? Love it. It's good.
Yeah.
And then just some pistoliers.
Because flagellants, they're unbreakable too, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think I was trying to, because I remember when we did the Empire review and I was looking at the differences between the flagellants in 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then I couldn't remember which one were better. But I think they are better in that rule they have in 6. Isn't it? I can't remember. Because I mean, like, one of them, they were better toughness and then they brought it back down. I can't remember which way it is.
7th edition, I think that was better.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was, because I had all the Empire books out and I was like, oh, that would have been good if they kept them the same.
They're looking pretty decent in Old World.
Oh, I haven't looked at that yet.
Feel No Pain or whatever.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Yeah. That list has been drawn against that slightly ridiculous errant, like 20 errant knight units that were going on before.
Interesting.
I think this list actually does very well against that because
I mean, you can't. It's just
the little knights errant are not going to get through the flagellants.
No, not at all. No. And then they're not also going to punch into these guys, the knightly orders, would they? They might do a bit of damage on the first go, but it depends on what and stuff you get off.
You got 2 units on the charge.
That's what I think the knights errant are going to do. They're going to try to hit you with like 2 or 3 of those tiny units at once, and that's going to be the smack that gets you. But even then, I don't think they can get through 20 flagellants ever.
Nah.
I mean, these 3 company, they're just straight. They're not scouts or anything. That's just the huntsmen. These
yeah.
Depends if he wants to like march these guys up and just keep his other guys back and just let them take the initial hit and then come in with his flagellants and knights, I guess.
Yeah, so
how many units of errants did the dude have? 11? Whatever it was. 10.
10. Yeah.
God.
So flagellants in 6th edition were actually very vanilla. They were just unbreakable. It was the martyrs they brought in 7th edition. I've got the 7th ed book here. I just checked the 6th ed book. In 7th edition was when they had they could martyr on the roll of a 1. They got hatred.
It was like they kill. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they kill.
That's where you killed one of the person, didn't you?
Yeah. And then they can re-roll failed rolls to wound, or they could add +1 to their combat resolution score. On one,
what's that, like dark elves there?
Yeah, they were like the dark elves. Yeah,
just sacrifice.
But on a side note, they are looking so good in Old World. I'm taking 30 with a warrior priest.
Oh, yeah. I've got a bunch. Awesome. I have to start painting Empire.
One list that I wouldn't mind looking at. It's a very normal Dogs of War list. Except that it's not Angus's one. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I think. But it's got Lucrezia Belladonna in it.
Yeah, Evan.
Who is a very wacky character with some very poorly worded special rules.
You're talking about
special character? I have no idea.
Evan running Lucrezia Belladonna.
So what is that a she? What does she do? Is it a she?
Yeah, she does just like a crazy amount of stuff. But the big weird one is any human mercenaries within 8 inches of her automatically rally. Instantly automatically rally.
As soon as they get to within 8 inches.
Right.
So it's
So
the question
bizarre.
of what happens if a unit breaks from combat within 8 inches of her.
Yeah, yeah.
Or they flee from a combat, they're broken, and then they flee into the range of the 8 inches and stuff. Like it opens up a whole lot of weird.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it still would break because then you have to be broken in order to rally. Is that right?
So,
yeah.
So I thought you'd break, you'd travel, and then turn around, and have to be an inch away from your enemy. I thought at least.
The way, cause I basically, we worked out how it would be, and I typed up a thing of like, this is how we are playing her for this edition, for this event. And basically, if you break from combat and you would be pursued and mowed down, the pursuer rolls higher, you're still gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get you. Yeah.
But if you were pursued and you flee, you basically just don't move the combat. You count as like having drawn, because you flee half an inch, 1/12 of an inch. You instantly turn around and rally, and then they pursue into you again. So it's easier just not to move them, but they count as charging on the next round of combat.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you flee but they don't pursue, then you move an inch away and rally.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds fair, I think. Because when you do the flee and catch straight away, I mean, you don't technically move anything, do you? You generally just roll the 2 dice. If you hit them, you're dead. So, yeah.
And it also seems unfair, like not the rules' intentions to make all humans within 8 inches of her unbreakable.
Yeah.
Well, the dice roll is speed.
Yeah,
distance.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's definitely a unit that could have done with an FAQ.
Yeah. Well, she's not cheap, so you'd think for the points you're spending, you'd want to get some bonuses. Obviously,
she does. She is a great unit. I've got her in my Amazon Dogs of War list.
Is she like an infantry thing, or is she sitting in like what is she?
She's on a horse.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's 380 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's basically like an evil mercenary damsel.
I think she's themed on Lucretia Borgia. If you ever watch the series with Jeremy Irons, she's around the 1500 sort of Renaissance period, and was the illegitimate daughter of the Pope. Borgia was his family name. I can't remember what his first name was. I think and she was like real sort of backstabby. He was good with poison and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure that's because she's a stallion, I think, or Telian. And so I'm pretty sure that's who she's thinking on.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got a whole bag of tricks.
She does.
You pick one friendly character to get Killing Blow for free. You pick another character that you roll a dice and improve that many stats by 1, which is just like...
Is that like the whole game
wacko?
at the beginning of the game, or is this... Like
Yeah. But if you roll a 1, you take a wound instead.
I think she can poison an
and
character.
Every enemy character needs to roll a dice, and on a 1 to 3, they start the game with 1 less wound.
It's crazy.
Very funny against Skaven, because those Warlock engineers are relying on having 1 spare wound to stay in the game past turn 2.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, other than that, very normal Dogs of War list.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There's also that Orc and Goblin list that's like just wolves.
Is this
just
the
wolf
Grom
riders and wolf chariots. This is the guy who wanted to run Grom, but didn't end up doing it.
Oh, he didn't. Okay, I didn't even see that.
I discovered that he changed his list
I didn't even
today.
realize that. Oh, okay. Does that
I
mean he
think
gets a penalty or not?
I've not been very good at sending you stuff that gets sent to me.
It's fine. Because he was just like, hey, that's the old list. I was like, oh, okay, I'll just put the new one.
No, this isn't the one.
Which one is that one? No, it's Ed Crompton.
I was going to say, saw some rock lobbers there.
I just thought it was because I remember seeing all the Wolf Riders and I wrote it down here. I wanted to talk about that, but okay, we've talked about it. He doesn't have Grom anymore. Damn.
I need my Coke bottle glasses.
I was quite disappointed in my email back to him saying, "Oh, thanks for the new list. It pains me, physically pains me to be taking Grom off. I'm very upset with you." Oh dear. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, but Grom would have been fun to see.
Wolf Riders.
God, he's got a high fortitude for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
We should have grudge matched this 13. Guy versus the 10 Knights Errant unit guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who can estimate their charge distance better?
That's a leadership on the Goblin Warbot.
That'd be fun. Oh.
7?
7? Yeah.
Not good.
It could be a bit of panic there.
This is the one I'd like to get a casket off on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. To counter that, the entire army just deploys facing backwards.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can with all these guys. Yeah.
Come at me, Gobbo. Yeah. Just face it backwards.
Wolf chariot. I mean, you could with the chariots too, eh? They just move around.
Yeah.
And they're all 9s, aren't they? So 18-inch move.
Yeah.
Well, they're 9, aren't they? Yeah.
They're all 9s.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was going to be more exciting to talk to, but it doesn't have... So, he's just put more Wolf Riders in, has he?
Yeah.
How much was Grom?
Grom's like almost 300.
Okay, yeah.
He's too much.
So why didn't Grom fit in there?
So it was the breaking point mission, because you get to pick one unit to be your like priority target that's worth double fortitude.
So he would have been 8.
So yeah, because Grom is the general and the BSB and also one unit. You kill him and it's game, and he's very easy.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he took it out, obviously knowing that. Yeah, okay, I get you. Sorry, I thought it was for some reason.
Hasn't Grom got like a 3-up ward save and regeneration though?
No, I don't think he even got the ward save in this edition. He's got a regen, and if he does have a ward save, it's 5-up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 3-up's pretty generous ward save.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Bloody Archaon, Jesus.
Cool. Well, have you got any other, Paddy or Josh, like that you saw when you were going through? They should warn us about.
Yeah, he doesn't actually have a ward save in 6th edition. That's later on.
There's a Nurgle Legions list hanging around with a Great Unclean One hiding in there.
Yeah.
Too static.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah.
There's a couple of really... There's a couple of really fun lists, but... Interrupting you. There's a couple of really fun lists, but for the most part, they're all pretty tame, and they're all... There's nothing like, holy shit, what a crazy list. This is gonna... I've never seen this before.
How many crazy lists did you guys have to send back? Seems like there was a couple.
I reckon they sent a few back. There was a few discussions.
Not that many. People were pretty tame.
Okay.
Most of them.
A couple of bastards kept trying to slip 2 tree man in, and then there's a no-go.
Yeah.
But other than that...
Yeah, there's a lot of... I seem to remember a lot of you guys discussing 2 treemen a lot. Or saying, oh, there's another one. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I didn't mind...
Oh, and that was... There was a John McDuff's Skaven list that he tried to do.
Yeah, which had all the nasty stuff, all this warp lightning and rattling gun, like multiple rattling guns and Jezzails, and it's just
5 warp lightning casts, 2 rattling guns, 2 warp lightning cannons, big team of Jezzails, just
lots of ratty shooting.
John does like.
Is there anything surprising to you guys about like the breakdown of the armies in terms of like, more than others?
I think there's only one Skaven list.
There's one Skaven and only one Tomb Kings. Yeah, I noticed. I think it was. Yeah, that's me. One Skaven.
Is there
There's a fair few Wood Elves.
Beasts of Chaos? Is there only one?
It's annoying because it's in this 6th edition one that it's all under Chaos.
Hordes of Chaos.
So I couldn't tell. I think there's like 1 or 2 Beastmen, maybe.
Oh, there's
1.
2 Beastmen. Yeah, 2 Beasts of Chaos. There's the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Britannian the highest?
Wood Elves and...
Wood Elves.
Was it
There's a few high elves.
Wood Elves.
Yeah.
Vamps is pretty much up there too, I thought.
4.
Yeah, actually Vamps. Probably Vamps.
Oh,
Yeah. That's 8.
How many ogres are there? Is there just the
2.
one?
Oh, 2.
I saw one.
Because Chris...
because Matt's playing Chaos.
Oh, has that changed? Okay, yeah.
It just got changed this afternoon.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I was meaning to...
Again, he submitted the list to me a while ago. I thought I passed it on.
2 Dark Elves.
Although there's more
you can
Dark
break it
Elves
down.
that are playing Cultist Slanesh.
Slanesh, yeah. 2 of them, which I know nothing about. I'll talk to Josh about.
Yeah, what did you think about the Cultist Slanesh, Josh? Did you go through that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting list. Lots of scouting going on with that one.
Yeah,
if you notice. Like even the anointed, the nasty anointed guy.
Well, that's why I was like, oh, cool. Maybe I'll use my cool little bound item from that dude that's sitting on the casket. But the dude's got 3-up save or something.
Yeah.
On those units, whatever it is. At least look like it. Which one
was,
is it?
Huh? Was there 3 sorcerers or 2 sorcerers? It was a bit of magic.
I think there's because the anointed is also a level 2 as well.
And Dark Elves have access.
2 level 1s and another level 2.
Okay.
There's some pretty good cheap magic items where it's like here's just +1 power dice, here's just +1 dispel dice.
Yeah. It's funny because there's not a lot of big units. Like, you got like these little smaller units, but obviously they...
But these special character dudes, these man flayers.
Oh, those are crazy. They're like maybe twice as expensive as they should be.
Right. What was that, mate?
I was going to say both on eBay and in the book.
Oh.
They're pretty cool looking models. They were made to order a while ago.
I've got 14 of
the
them.
banner wars. Yeah. All the skin cloaks.
Because I was looking at them initially because I've got to play this. And I was like, and they got all this banner where it's -1 to hit. I was like, I don't care. I'll just shoot 5 up. Toughness 3. But then I'm like, oh crap.
There's 5 of them, and they're almost 300 points.
Yeah.
On a 6.
Yeah.
They're all top 3.
Yeah.
There's very little armor.
But so is that wrong? Like, why is this a 3 up here? But this is
what's a 3 up? Where does it say?
Here. Is that just a mistake?
Oh, I wouldn't look at the army builders.
Oh, okay. Well, now I'm happy. So you're saying it is a 5 up because this one's heavy armor and this one says heavy armor.
Yeah, it's just heavy armor.
Why is
the cloak? I can't remember if the cloak does something.
Yeah, army builder shit for some.
Cloak could easily do something. Oh, wait, I can get it up. I've got the.
Because if that's the case, then that's cool. That's good for me.
Is it just bonus one to hit?
The rest of it sucks because it's all immune to psych, probably.
Yeah.
Gomo, you love the casket that much that I actually think of you almost like. Do you remember Pinky in the Brain? And he's always up to these like diabolical. And it's you in the casket.
Yeah.
So all I was going to say, mate, is just don't put all your eggs in one casket.
No. No, well, these guys I'm actually looking at from just like shooting them because they're only elves.
I really can't see. I don't think the flaying gives them an armor save, so it's really just the heavy armor.
Especially with Tomb King's shooting that ignores.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't care about these penalties.
Yeah. They're squishy.
Yeah, because there should be -2 to 3 if there's skirmishes with the additional -1 or 2. Yeah. So,
It's like 5 up. Pew!
Does the banner give them a 5-up ward save, or is it just Mangle that has a ward save?
Banner is just the minus to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have a ward save.
Yeah, well, it's not saying it here, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like one well-rolled fireball away from the whole unit being dead for 300 points.
Oh, my 3d6 strength 2 bound item might do some damage too.
Yeah.
Don't give away all your tricks there, Gomer. Gotta keep some of your tricks there.
Yeah, the next hour of the podcast is a strategy talk on how to beat this list. So here's what you're
I'll still lose it, but that's all good. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a very it's a mobile type of army, but it's very soft. It's got quite a few tricks in the Laura Slanesh that gives it as I was talking about last week.
Yeah,
really have fun with, but. Some of those spells, I think, if you're immune to psychology, you don't get affected by them
because they're baiting ones, isn't?
Some of them
randomly move them or something
aren't usable against units that are immune to psychology. There's a couple, not all of them, but there's a couple of them that so you'll have some outs as well. You've got them there.
So printing out my 6th edition spell cards, ASB. See?
What's up?
Take with me. I've been printing all the 6th edition spell cards to have with me.
Oh, you've got them?
After our chat,
They're handy.
Were you printing the old ones as well, or just the 6th ed, the old world?
No, these are 6th ed, but I haven't started old world.
You have started the old world as well?
I thought you bought didn't you buy seven sets or something?
Yeah, but then it won't be here. So if I get a couple of games down there, I want the bloody cards. So they look cool. Look, I made backgrounds for them.
Nice.
Squeeze in some games. Oh my god!
I'm pretty excited to play a game. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
No new project has really grabbed my attention, so I've moved on to how can I make my Amazons work in Old World, and I think they're going to be Wood Elves this time around.
Wood Elves aren't bad. They're not. I'll have to visit them. Yeah.
I don't think,
but they don't look
bad.
like the book doesn't look bad. Yeah. There's
I'm
I don't know.
bit disappointed in the dwarf book. It
It hasn't
seems
changed a lot.
I don't think it's changed at all. I think every other army has gotten like 1 or 2 little new characters as like a treat, or they brought back forest sprites or high elf honors or other cool things, and dwarves kind of just look exactly how they were in 8.
I like the Rangers. I reckon the Rangers, the gyros and whatnot, I like those. I think the war machines haven't changed a hell of a lot, but...
You're excited to field 18 gyrocopters?
Oh, I was looking... They're $59 at the local game store, and I'm like, $59 times 18. I'm like, that's not too bad. That's a good deal. Sorry, SB, you go.
I was going to say great return on investment. I think the dwarf book looks really good. I think the problem is they're never going to get Bear Cav, because if they're planning to do Kislev, which sounds like Kislev, so they could do Goat Cav perhaps. But I think dwarves they're not meant to have Cav.
Yeah, I agree. But I think they could have done some stuff. I don't know.
Put them on some ponies, like
Nice.
Paddy did.
They could get a steamship. Like, there's all sorts of shit they can get, like an airship.
Wow.
Like a proper...
They did that now, AOS.
AOS.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But in some of the books, like the fantasy, they've got these big...
Total War as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see some options where you could take like a minor themed army and have like a lot of it just like coming up from the ground, or
Yeah, there
something to
wasn't.
make like what are they called? The iron breakers with guns.
Iron Drakes.
Like maybe something that makes
Iron Drakes.
them special,
Yeah.
so you could have like, because I've never seen them actually be used, iron drakes,
No.
but they seem like a interesting unit that.
And so there's nothing
So-
in Old World you would have seen to make you take them in the, because you didn't mention them
Well,
when you were going through it.
it's just
last week, Andrew.
they're just normal rare
Yeah,
stuff.
too much to compete with too, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, for the Iron Drake. Oh, they're alright. I just find they're like a. It's kind of like a. But they're quick to fire. They you know. But just as a whole, I find dwarves are quite static and can be a little bit boring. It's everyone's got to kind of come to you. That's the only thing. But hopefully with okay.
I was going to say, is anyone else finding it really, really challenging going back to percentages? I know 8th edition was percentages, 9th age was percentages.
Yeah.
I think WAP was as well. Because like I'm writing Empire lists, right? I'm like, okay, I want 2 Griffins because I want my BSB on a Griffin. I want a General on a Griffin. Okay, I want one of each Warrior Priest because I want the Sigmar Warrior Priest on foot in a unit of flaggies for the rerolls ones and to give them a 5 from shooting. I'm like, and I want an Ulrich Warrior Priest on a unit of knights. All of a sudden, I'm spending, and I need a Wizard Lord because I can't be not too much for casting. I just want him for magic defense. That's it. I don't actually care about getting spells off.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, that's 850 points on characters in a 2,000 point army, which really
you got to spend 500 points on core. Yeah.
Yeah, then 500 points on core. I'm like, okay, I can have 1 unit of demigriffs, and that's my army.
Well, I found that, I don't know if you saw the YouTube video, I just fiddled around with the Tomb King one, and just adding up the core, especially with Tomb Kings, you're like, oh god, another unit of skeletons, another unit, like just to try and make it up. Whereas in 6, you just sort of didn't notice it. It was
I do like that you can spend 1,000 points on crazy, fully kitted out characters.
Yeah.
And it won't necessarily be good, but you do have the option.
I think
that's one of the best ways. We were discussing this the other day, just getting an army out, like because you get some good special units, you fill out your core, and then you just pad out your characters, and you've got an army. Even it might not be the best army, but it's like, it's an army.
I mean, there's certain books that can do it better, right? Like Chaos Warriors, they do it well. High Elves, to an extent, do that well. Wood Elves, even if they go Forest Dragon, but I think there's really, Empire struggle with that. It might even actually just be Empire that can't do that well because, it's. I have looked at going all Cav, and so it's like a couple of units of Knights, a couple of units of Outriders, and then just as many Griffins as I can fit onto the table and into the points allowance, but. Yeah, it's
so I haven't even looked at the Empire too much, but are the normal core knights now back to 3 up, say, was it? And then it's the inner circle ones are 2 up. Wow, that's a big change.
Yeah,
I know all the armor's been nerfed, but to go from 1 up back to 3 up is like,
I think the challenge that I'm finding is just what core I want to use, what infantry, whether I go spears, etc. But one thing I'm absolutely loving though is Huntsmen are no longer 0 to 1. It's 5 models in a unit.
Nice.
So I've been playing around with lists that have 4 units of 5 Huntsmen. They scout and vanguard and have reserve move. So I'm looking at going.
Yeah, that's an awesome rule.
Yeah. So basically, I could.
And you've got that. You've got that magic elf bow that they've got. You can make your own Marcus Wolfheart.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm looking at
the book.
BSB on a Griffin with the banner, or potentially with the 60-point banner that basically makes everyone. I can't actually remember what it does, so I'm not even talk about it. But definitely, so BSB with a Griffin with Dragon Bow. he's basically a mobile monster hunter. And when he needs to commit to combat, he will as a counter charger. But he just flies around with his BSB. And then general and a griffin.
And BSBs are able to take so much more than just the banner now. There's like very few limitations on that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they can go on a griffin.
Oh, it's good. Like yeah.
And the best thing, the wizarding hat is now not 100 points off. It's half off. We've got it on sale. I've got a Night Goblin War Boss on a Great Cave Squig that I've converted up to have the wizarding hat. And he's always been garbage, but now I can give him I can give him a ward save.
It's on sale.
Have you got a hat for it? Maybe a miniature version of the house sorting hat out of like Harry Potter, maybe.
I've pretty much just used the Skarsnik model for him.
Oh, okay.
But he's on a converted Celestial Hurricanum that's being pulled by one of the new Mangler Squigs.
Oh, wow. Well, you might as well. You might find a lot of those Celestial Hurricanums on eBay as well now. Anyway,
it's just this huge 3-wound, no defense model that like one round of shooting from like 10 crossbowmen and he's gone.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Is the easy answer.
When I saw Orcs came out too, though, like even though I'm not overly thrilled with the battle box. Do I want more boys? Maybe I do, but like,
it was a bit lacking.
There's so much AOS stuff, like because I've still got this box under here that's the squigs, the 2 manglers and I'd love to do night goblins and squigs and gribblies and stuff because they'd all look. Most of them are in AOS. They're awesome models. And if I'm going to rebase, I might as well rebase with new models. I don't know.
What do you think is going to be the king in Old World? In 8th, it was massed infantry, static combat res. In 6th, I think it was cavalry getting that charge. What do you think in Old World?
I'm, to be honest, from what I've seen, like I'm seeing a lot of people say MSU. I actually genuinely believe this might be mixed arms, flexible list hammer, like actual Warhammer, as Steve from Mountain Miniatures talks about. Because from everything of people that I'm seeing posting that have played the game and from all the battle reports, it's a war of attrition. And I don't know if MSU is going to help you because there is still static res. You're not doing out as much damage. And so, having a couple of ranked up units I think is important, but I also think having hammers, counter charges. So I think a real mixed arms list from everything I've seen so far anyway. I don't think the monster or hero hammer is going to be as strong as everyone thinks it is because like you've got the double unit strength auto break thing, your attacks. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you just run around with 4, in an Empire list, I think you can actually take. If you go like real budget, I don't think you can get 5 Griffins, but I think you can get 4. You look at lists like that. If they charge at the right time, they will delete units.
I think as well, you can definitely take more of those kinds of guys in Old World than compared to 8.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can kit out as good like a killer combat lord. You're missing some of the like tools that there were in 8, like getting Dawnstone 4-up ward save, just real
definitely
easy.
On that protection side, there just doesn't seem to be as much. Although Andrew, you were saying there is obviously ways.
Oh yeah, so looking at the
saves.
Well, the Chaos Lord I was looking at, and a few other people have said this. You're looking at on the dragon, it's got like 8 or 9 wounds or something stupid, and he's rocking a 2-up rerollable with a 5-up ward, and it's like, how do you dent that? Like it's
when the AP's down and number of wounds caused by machines is down.
Yeah. So unless you're specifically targeting that type of monster, and you'd need a very even with dwarves, I'm like, I'm going to take a dragon you know, no, it'll be a demon slayer. I mean, you still got to get him into combat with that lord, don't you? It's like it can be quite hard. And, you know, you're looking at bloody cannons and it's like, well, how many cannons are you going to take? Like, it's almost like you got to tool up to counter that. It's a very hard thing to counter unless you're kind of tooled up for it.
Can't he, with the Monster Slayer special rule, would that just like instantly delete him if it went through?
Yep.
Oh, it's D3 wounds.
Monster. Yeah, but isn't that like the heroic killing blow one?
Yeah, but it's definitely a lot easier to get than heroic killing blow was.
Yeah, so the Dragon Slayer's got it, and then the Demon Slayer's got it. You still got to get him into combat with that dragon. Like,
yeah.
It's one of those
When
things because they're not very
moving
mobile. So yeah,
and that's
so
the classic thing of,
you're not going to catch
that's where I'm not going to fly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You'd be like,
it's the sequel to How to Train a Dragon. It's How to Catch a Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I think you almost got to like wait and just see what that meta is and like how people are countering things.
Because how expensive is that Chaos Lord?
No.
Is it like
probably
huge points?
800 points probably by the time you get it.
That's decent.
Wow.
Christ.
Is he? It doesn't matter. Is he like a one? If you play 1999, can you still get him? Yes, you still would be able.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just a lord.
Yeah.
It's not like in 6th where there's no lord below however many points.
Nah, like it's good. It's good the way they've done them, but it's just like some of the wound profiles on some of these monsters are getting crazy good. Like I was even like playing around with like the high elves because with chariots you just add the wound profile on. So with chariots, you get these heroes with quite quite
chariot characters are looking much better than they've ever been because they've usually been just like bottom of the barrel, the worst place to put a character.
Yeah, again, like 6 wounds if you just pop a hero, like for a hero, onto a lion chariot, like it's crazy, 6 wounds, it's pretty, Like toughness isn't higher, but you start getting a half decent save and it's a bit choppy.
I'm looking at I'm definitely going to try it, but so in Empire now you can have crossbows can have the upgrades for the champions, like Hochland, repeater handguns, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, okay, crossbows at 30-inch range. Put a Hochland long rifle in your like 2 units of crossbows. Unfortunately, though, I was really hoping that they would allow this because I know in certain editions they have, but you do get a lookout, sir, when picking out. Which I know it's a fantasy, but I'm like, how the heck does a unit, does a random model see a mage getting shot by a tiny little lead ball from 36 inches away and go, oh, sir, look out, just dive in front of it? Like, come on, that doesn't happen.
No. The unit champion's smart. They've given their fancy hat to the guy next to them before the battle began.
The decoy. That's it. Just wear this hat, son. There we go.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. That's the key.
Yeah.
I was looking at Wood Elf stuff and I saw all of these items existed in 6th edition. The bow that lets you shoot as many times as you've got attacks, and the Hail of Doom arrow that lets you.
Was it back?
If you shoot it, it's a small blast template. Yeah. But it's not like 3d6 shots anymore. It's a template. And I was wondering if you could use them at the same time to shoot 4 Hail of Doom arrows into a unit, but it doesn't say specifically that you can't, but I don't think you can.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of reading and a lot of learning, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'll have more time to read up on this. I have not read many of these rules.
So there was an interesting debate.
We've got to read this, Josh.
haven't got mine.
I haven't
yet.
got mine.
Oh, didn't you? Sorry.
I ordered it with the other stuff in the same order, and then I got there, and they were like, "Sorry, it didn't arrive because you ordered it with other stuff." I'm like,
actual old world thing that I have now in my hands, which is cool.
Nice.
And it's,
It looks like a nice book.
And it's number 9. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that.
I see it.
Yeah.
Sure.
9 out of 1,500.
9 out of 1,500.
Yeah.
Either
I
that's
think-
really special or no one's bought them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think the most important unanswered question with Old World is not when are we getting the Legacy Faction PDFs, when are orcs coming out or whatever. It's when are we going to get that FAQ. It's needed already.
Spears need
I'll
an
work
effort.
it
Like
out, I guess.
just the explanation of how spears work now. 'Cause now-
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, I've found. So, like from deduction from reading, there's 5 different areas you need to read to get it. But basically, what it's stating is that as long as there is a model in the fighting rank, models with spears get a supporting attack. It doesn't state that the original model needs to be in the fighting rank, if that makes sense. So as long as you have more than 2 ranks, you will be able to fight with spears because the model that stepped up, another model is now there, and that model is allowed to attack because he hasn't stepped into the fighting rank, and the rule stipulates that the model fighting from the second rank, as long as the attack, like the wounds don't flow over. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I've got a unit of 15 spearmen, 5 wide, 4 die, so the front rank dies. I will get the attacks from the second rank. Mountain Miniature said you don't. You will, as long as you don't go down to 2 ranks, if that makes sense, because otherwise
that's how I'd play it, but
Yeah.
I think it could potentially still work even if you've got 2 ranks. If you've got 10 spearmen, two ranks of 5, and 3 of them die in the front rank. If step up happens immediately, then you've only got the 4 guys attacking. But
I see what you're saying,
if they do their attacks and then they step up,
no, it's immediate.
Then you've got the full 7 guys left or whatever.
So it happens at the initiative step. So, a chariot charges them at initiative 10, kills 4. Then the next initiative step takes over, i.e. those models have now stepped up into the front rank before they get to attack.
Does it actually say that exactly when step up happens?
Yes, because it's in the that's what I mean. It's on like 5 different pages. I do like the fact they've put in an index, but it's not a 9th age index, put it that way. But even 9th age index wasn't that great. They'd have like, please see special rule here on page 55. Then you go to page 55, it's like, as per page 78. You're like, and everyone's like, 9th age is so good.
At least it's clickable in this, like where you click the page 59 or whatever.
Choose your own adventure novel.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, we went from Cancon there, which is good. Well, I think we wrapped that up into Old World, which was kind of cool. But no, that's
quite seamless, I would argue.
It's probably a good time though, maybe should we close it out soon though, guys? Is there anything else you want to chat about there? I mean, obviously we'll have a lot of discussions during Cancon too. I want to try to get some audio down there. We should try that and some interviews of people and do an episode down there. But yeah, we'll definitely have you two back on chatting Old World, that's for sure. And I think ASB is pretty keen to talk lore too. He's a lore master in more ways than one.
I do enjoy the lore. It is one of my. I'm actually really happy with the setting, to be honest. Like, I think the Time of the Three Emperors is really, really cool. Having read about it a lot, when it in the previous setting. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I've got one kind of little bugbear that kind of has to do with the lore, but not. The armies they've selected that Tomb Kings are able to ally with is stupid. They are like the most hated factions of the Tomb Kings that they're able to ally with.
Who is that?
Warriors of Chaos, Beastmen, and Orcs and Goblins.
Yeah, it's because they've turned them into this evil race.
Yeah.
They
I
used
thought
to be
they used to battle the
Switzerland.
orcs, didn't they, all the time?
Yeah. No, I mean, they, like, orcs were like, they were what the Empire was. The orcs were like the number one guys they were fighting for the most part.
Yeah.
They should be able to be like half decent allies with high elves. They communicated back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's silly.
I think there's been a few little stretchings of things just to sort of align with what they have to deliver.
We have just completely glossed over that Malekith never existed, and
he's
as
Malorian,
Malekith,
whatever.
I just think it's Malarian.
Malarian? Malarian?
Do you know what his brother? His name is?
Is it like Malorian?
But yeah, no. It's like it's obviously not meant to be pronounced this way, but it's more lion. His name is Morelion. Morelion. Morelion.
Morelion.
I think it's Morlion.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
dumb.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm going to get it mixed up, but they're very close then. Oh God. Okay.
Oh, well. The history can keep changing in the end times.
The
never happened.
IP battle.
Well.
Cool. Okay. Well, hey, ASB, did you want to? I didn't prep you for this, but did you want to shout out anything about that Aussie TO Facebook group, or you got everyone in there that you need, or?
Oh no, we need many more. Many more.
Okay.
So for those that are listening that played particularly 6th and 7th edition, maybe the very beginning of 8th, you'll remember harking back to the days of Warhammer AU. There was, I think from my memory, in sort of peak 7th edition, there was 7,000 ranked players. There was, in Australia, there was like, on some weekends, there was like 2, 3, 4 tournaments, in each, spread across the country. The major tournaments back then, Cancon, I think the record was like 282 players. I think DogCon 180. Oktoberfest and Convic were in the sort of 130s to 140s, and it was a pretty cool time. I unfortunately was a 16, 17-year-old and couldn't travel, so I had to settle with South Australian tournaments where our biggest we sort of range between like anywhere from 20 to 50 for our events, but it would be great to get back to a scene like that. I think to have a unified master system with rankings, but maybe with a little bit less of it's often referred to as the Warhammer Fantasy Mafia, where it was sort of ruled by a group of guys. I think what I would like to see is a community ruled communism basically. So dust off your fur hats.
Alternatively, we could be the mafiosos. We could get in on the ground floor and rule with an iron fist.
This is how the Soviets started. But yeah, so the kind of an idea that I've had is that we actually form a committee, and anyone can join. Anyone in Australia that plays. The only commitment is that you need to commit to the next committee meeting, and after that, your commitment is done. If you want to leave, you can. Anyone that wants to stay can stay. Obviously, there would be some form of action plan. People that stay long term would probably have designated roles, i.e., secretary, treasurers, tech guy, i.e., Gomo. And the idea of that would be to eventually try and form this and get it established as a not-for-profit. If that was to occur, you get access to apply for certain government grants. So kind of the vision would be, long term, you've got each state having its own set of mats, terrain, all stored at say a big tournament venue, like a hall that's central-ish in each capital city, where you can then start hosting a tournament, and then you could switch the masters so each state gets to host it, and it alternates. And that way it's a bit more fair than, always traveling. You could even, depending on how something like that went, you could get to a point, perhaps, I haven't looked into too much details of those government grants. I know my cricket club got one for 70 grand a couple of years ago. But you could even get to a point where if you qualify for the Masters, that committee kitty of, those grants actually pays for the tickets for the Masters invitation, players to get flown to the state they're in and maybe their accommodation or something like that.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's kind of a vision. So have a look if you haven't already. It is Warhammer Tournaments. Sorry, Warhammer the Old World. No, let me read exactly what it is. 1 second.
Wargamers of the world unite.
So it's
we have nothing to lose but small bits of models onto carpeted floors.
So Australia-Warhammer Old World Tournaments. But yeah, again, this is meant. It should be about the community and run by the community. I think rather than having 2 or 3 guys that sort of rule the roost and dictate everything and gatekeep it. I think it should be an open forum where everyone's ideas are valid and their opinions are heard. And it's sort of a vote system as to what decisions are made on, things like rankings, masters, etc. So yeah, that's my TED talk.
Awesome. That's cool. Okay, yeah, I'll whack that on the show notes too for the Aussies, and obviously if people ask us in Cancon, we'll let them know. So,
how long after Old World releases properly do you think it'll be set up? I think next year.
I don't know if we would do a Masters this year. I think by the time we get booked, I think it'll probably be because you generally want to run Masters in sort of November. And I just don't know if maybe the first year having one is a good idea. I think perhaps we'd look at it for the following year. That gives us time to look at, like when I say us, I mean the community, to look at stuff like, do we need composition? Do we not need composition? And what format?
Is 1999 plus 1 point the way to go?
Or is it even higher?
Get some games under our belt.
Yeah. I think that's.
Is 2,500 points the normal game?
Yeah, I think.
Maybe not.
Who knows?
I think these are questions that we won't know until we get data on it. I put up a poll, and I think some people took it as my opinion. I literally just copy and pasted that just to create.
Yeah. I saw you getting some flack for that.
Yeah.
Now, if we were mafiosos, we could have had them punished.
My brother's a concreter, so
Lots you can do with that. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, I might have to wrap this one up so we can get this episode out. But yeah, thanks for coming on, you two. It's been informative, at least for people like me who don't play a whole lot. So it's good to hear your view on the
Always
list.
A great time.
Yeah,
happy to be here.
It's going to be good to catch up with you again, Paddy, and especially Josh in person this week. It's going to be, and Andrew, I do see him more.
Absolutely.
It's a shame you're not there, ASB, but you've got some fun times ahead.
Yeah.
Hopefully it all goes well.
I've
good
got
day.
On
2
Thursday,
weeks
then. Off, and then 3-day weeks for 5 weeks after that. Anytime they're sleeping, I am in here hobbying.
Yeah.
So
read hobbying. Yeah. Good on you. Got to keep your mind. You got to have those moments of escape. So that's for sure. Cool. Oh, well, I'll wrap this one up. If you guys, Andrew, Josh, you got anything else to say? Are you all pretty good?
No.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, everyone. And all the listeners, the usual socials, obviously, check us out on that. Old World Fanatics. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Threads, and all the other places that we're on. And obviously, our YouTube channel. You might even be watching us on YouTube. And I guess we're always after feedback on that and new episodes that we're bringing out on that. So, yeah, until next time, guys, thanks a lot. And I'll see you all this week, hopefully, except for ASB.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.